I would like to first and foremost thank New Smyrna Beach High School for allowing us to talk about a detrimental issue here tonight, as well as the Substance Abuse Task Force and No Task Force. And a special thank you to the 1st Battalion, 87th Infantry Regiment, my chain command, for allowing me to fly down from Fort Drum, New York to be here today. I'm not the one who should be standing here in this uniform, and although I stand for justice and the equivalence of humanity with the right they deserve, I never publicized that or made it known to those around. That was my twin. My twin was a fighter, and she stood for the ones who were too scared to speak. She was the hero against the herd of bullies and the light to the darkness when individuals seemed to have lost their way. She stood firm on what she believed and had the strength and courage to stand amongst her peers and those dire in need of help when called. Rhiannon Dawn Fraser was a woman with morals and values, refined and structured to what was right for the people, and not necessarily by society's standard. It wouldn't matter what you looked like, where you came from, or how you lived your life. What mattered was the inside. For those that the public eye shunned aside for indifference, i.e. sexual orientation, choice of style, music, attire, dreams, and aspirations, she held tight under her wing, to let those know that there was someone out there in this world that cherished uniqueness and unresponsiveness. You don't find someone like Rhiannon in this world. They're birthed by grace. Individuals with Rhiannon's talents aren't normal. They're matchless. The spirit and mind, embedded into one entity, with the voice of an angel, a dancer as graceful as the morning fog amongst the cool pavement, a painter, with a hand as steady as a deer dancing in the midst of Earth's foundations, and a heart that is a canvas for the world, more inspirational than what the Sistine Chapel could triumph. It was Rhiannon's dream to be in the United States Army. She was a warrior in her heart, and made it known that her ambitions and future endeavors would be met. She fought tooth and nail through the harsh terrain of growing up. Meeting the standard of her peers was almost impossible. It was inevitable that she would need to seek her abilities elsewhere and embrace that this world just wasn't ready for something so powerful, so right, and so natural. She enabled herself to tune into what her heart was transmitting, and the signals brought her to go down to MEPS, which is a military entry processing station, to join the military and take herself on a new journey. That dream, and most important, her life, was cut short. I stand before you in this uniform with the pride of my country and the satisfaction of making her dream a reality, to make sure that as her twin brother, her other half, her best friend, that I carry on her legacy and achieve all that she desired before she passed. She has given me the strength to know that I can carry the weight of the world on my shoulders when the pain is too heavy for my family to handle. That even though I'm cross country, doing my job to protect and serve, I am still carrying the torch of her bequest and the impact that she had on the lives of those around her. I never imagined my life without Rhiannon would exist. My fear has become my reality. I feel as though my heart is encased in a box of thorns, waiting for her to come save me. Waiting for her to call me and just ask if everything is all right, if there was anything that I needed to talk about, or most important, if all I needed was a hug. We would sit and talk for hours a day about everything going on in our lives, and one thing that seemed to be repetitive was her fear of dying. And the most ironic of the situation, she loved life to all extent, the beauty of the nature, the difference of the creatures and humans on Earth, the simple creatures such as a frog intrigued her the most. Her oddly looking, strange acting dog Templeton in her arms was the cutest and most brightest of beasts in her eyes. Lo and behold, he was a miniature greyhound. These are prime examples of how Rhiannon loved life and all the unique and distinctive characteristics that we all carry. But life and her presence with us seemed to have flashed in smoke signals. Rhiannon would get to a point where she was hysterically crying with her arms around me, afraid that I was going to leave her, move away, not protect her, or not watch out for her best interests. I promised her that by life or death, I would do everything in my power to make sure that I could shield and shelter her existence from harm. It wasn't until 3 weeks after I moved from my home in Florida to Virginia that I received the call that she had passed away. For once, I felt defeated. I had lost the greatest thing in my life. When you endure the feeling of being so alone, that the one person in your life that could take all your pain away and sorrow is gone, the aftershock and damage that is done is thunderstruck. Rena was my outlet and escape from reality and what the world had to offer in its most gruesome moments. She was the common ground for the perfect psychological disposition. Her solutions, advice, and heartfelt emotions were the sanctuary for the most shattered of glass. We were talking about a young lady, an individual who was conned into believing that there were friends in grim need of help. These friends begged her for her attendance to be shown. 9 hours later, she was dead. Her sensitive items were unaccounted for. Her most vital weapon was seized and broken. Her call for help was not heard because half a dozen individuals with her that night couldn't analyze a suicide from an overdose to a homicide. They analyzed what was best in their interest and what would save them from the decree of the law, when the most simple of actions could have been to call 911. In the Army, one of the 4 warrior ethos is I will never leave a fallen comrade. And in this situation, which resulted in loss of life, she was in enemy hands. We, as her family, friends, and the people listening to what is said here today, the one thing we owe to each other, at the least of what is lawful, is the safety of our people, and the justice for those who violate that right, and justice for those who can no longer speak. Thank you.
I would like you now to please exit the door on your right and continue right out the glass doors to join us in our No Candlelight Vigil to remember our loved ones that we have lost. On your way out, please notice that there is a memorial wall where friends and families have provided pictures of a story and a loved one that they have lost. The Substance Abuse Task Force of Volusia and Flagler Counties and No Task Force would like to thank you for your presence here tonight. And we hope that the information and stories that we have shared change the community and will help save a life.